So, warm welcome to all the participants and the panelists for today's session. This is the very first session in the November month quality series from the Consultants Forums. Those of you who have been attending the sessions regularly, I'm sure all of you must be aware that uh, as consultants associations, Consultants Consortium of Chennai is a 5-year-old association, and we also have another association called Management System Consultants Consortium, which is just about more than a year old organization. So both the forums have collectively been organizing a lot of this knowledge series throughout the year on various occasions. So globally, I'm sure all of you must be aware that most of you are stakeholders from the domain called quality. November is known as Quality Month across the globe. So we have World Quality Month, where the celebrations happen throughout the month. And the World Quality Week is actually being celebrated from November 11th to November 15th by the CQI from US. They have a November Quality Week celebrations. And we celebrate the second Thursday in the month of November as uh, Quality Day. So, which is on November 14th, which is November Quality. It is the World Quality Day. That is actually November 14th. So the month of November is actually well known for this celebrations to celebrate quality. And considering this key milestone day or the month, we have actually designed month-long sessions this year as usual, and with very clear focus on manufacturing quality and service quality, because a lot of conversations all the time in the country happen around manufacturing, about product focus, be it regulations, be it standards, or be it certifications. The same kind of a focus somehow is missing and not felt, not experienced when it comes to service quality. So we have actually designed around some 12 or 13 programs, and equally spreading across manufacturing and services quality series. So the first 2 weeks we'll be having sessions exclusively on manufacturing, followed by next 2 weeks on the services quality. And all this key milestone months or milestone days always carry a theme. Globally, the theme this year for quality, World Quality Month or World Quality Day or the week is actually the focus from compliance to performance. This is a global theme which is designed maybe to bring to the notice of the business world that it's time for organizations to move away, or move the focus and shift from compliances to focus more on organizational performance. This is a global theme designed globally, and maybe global markets have that maturity when it comes to compliances. Their enterprise maturity may be a little higher when it comes to compliances, but this is not the case in India. At least majority of us know, most of us know that still we do still struggle to manage with the minimum standards that are being laid down in the country. So it's time for us to focus more on actually strengthening our compliances focus, and through which organizational performance maturity also will increase and improve. So maybe when it comes to maturity on compliances, on a scale of 1 to 5, I'm sure I don't think that we are at the level 3 or a level 4 to say that we have very high maturity quotient. And that emerging markets and emerging economies, countries, where we have a huge business potential to be part of the global supply chain, with improved focus on strengthening our compliances commitments. I think the marketplace has got immense potential to be part of the supply chain, be it in the domestic market or in the international market. So let us see how it's going to pan out over this month-long sessions from various sectors, by listening to the views of various stakeholders. And then, there's a big opportunity statement for the country, by strengthening our compliance focus, I think the businesses will benefit, the country will benefit, the economy will benefit. And then how do we really bring that shift through this compliance? Is how do we ensure that businesses can also actually improve their performances. So we request you all to visit our website. I'll keep posting it in the chat box, and keep visiting our website regularly, because there is a web page which is created for this month-long series. On a daily basis, session-wise updates and everything will be updated, and keep joining us. Do register for all the sessions or the topics of your interest or industry of your interest. Do attend, and this is an information sharing exercise, knowledge sharing exercise, and which are designed, takes a lot of time and efforts to create this kind of initiatives to for the benefit of all the stakeholders. So once again, I would like to thank the participants for joining us and the panelists. We have our session host today, Mr. Shantanu Gupta, who's our fellow consultant and been a very experienced consultant in the food and agri-product space, and a food technologist himself. So I would like to hand over the session to the session host. Request the audience to post any queries if they have in the Q&A box, not in the chat box also. So over to you, Shantanoji. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, and good afternoon to all. So, and I'm very much grateful to the consultant consortium of Chennai to bring this all the experts on this platform, the knowledge sharing platform. And as you have said, madam, this is the quality month, and the title for this month, I think we have that confirmation to performance. So, how the performance could be there with innovation in the society, and matching that title, we have speakers with us from the regulatory part also, and from the startup, and from the institute, the industry. I would say there are few personalities like Chinmay madam, who is herself is an institute for this. So let us see. And myself, I have also experience working with under the act, that is COTPA, Cigarette and Other Tobacco Products Act. So it will be a good learning for me, because once I was with the act, and thereafter I do agriculture also, do some kind of industry establishment, some innovations, and we have understood what, or we will try to understood what all these kind of shortcomings are there or benefits are there with this kind of setup. And I will like to introduce the panelist right now with us. First of all, we have from the regulations, that is regulatory agency FSSAI, Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, with the Deepika Bansalji. She is technical officer there, and having a good experience in different domains in the authority itself. So if she joins, I will say
No,
we
not
will
yet.
not we will
Not
be
yet.
able to learn.
I
Sorry.
could not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just checking. No, she is yet to join, I guess. I could not find her here. Chinmay is here, and Dr. Shanmugam is here. Deepika Bansal is
Yeah,
yet to join. We'll proceed. We'll proceed with as
right.
per the order. Yeah, please.
Thank you, madam. Thanks for the update. So we will came to know lot. We will came to know lots about that. What the regulation, how the regulator will think about that, and also we have Mr. Shanmuga Kumar, and I have just have a brief introduction and about his activities. I would say being an innovator, technocrat, and founder, a lot of learnings would be there. What experiences he has in the field. And we have Chinmay madam. What will say about Chinmay madam? I know him. So she herself is the institute uh, with the different domains as a certification body, as a trainer, as an academician, as a consultant. So we will see how these two pillars, actually these two ends, one the regulator and another is the innovator and founder with us. how the expertise like Chinmay madam could be fruitful for this session. And we have Mr. Jindal is also with us, who is a very renowned person and with the Association of Food Processing Industries of India. Not know much about him, but let us me see what he has in his pocket, in his bag for this today's session. And Deepika madam is still to join. So madam, I think I should not take much time. Should we begin the session with uh, Mr. Shanmuga Kumar?
No,
Shanmuga Kumar?
just a second, please. Just a second. We'll go by Chinmay is available. If she's free, we'll ask Chinmay to do the session. Then we'll go to Dr. Shanmuga Kumar.
Right, madam.
Right.
So, Chennai madam, most welcome.
Thank
Nice
you
to see you here.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting, madam. And if we are okay, I can start with the.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yes,
So-
madam, please go ahead.
Can I share my slides?
Yeah, please.
Let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So thank you. I honestly thought, my session is after Jindal sir session. And when I honestly, ma'am, looked at the topic, I thought probably I am going to speak exactly opposite what he's going to speak. Because mine is shifting from compliance to high performance, and his is exactly reverse topic. So it was like, okay, so what am I going to speak, after Jindal sir session? And thank you so much, for this opportunity. I personally love, CCC, the Consortium of Chennai Consultants, and it's a great initiative, what has been done. And ma'am, the topics that you are going to talk about every day for over a month, I think even if it's 10% is are implemented, industry, especially food industry, is going to see a a good change in the in the overall operation. So thank you. And so coming to my topic, when this was given to me, shifting from compliance to high performance, I was wondering, is it ever going to happen that, are we going to, the way regulations are changing, the way, every aspect, gamut of compliance is changing. How does, this topic comes, how does this topic is relevant? So let me try my level best, and I'm sure that what I'm going to speak, probably Jinnal sir will say that, okay, no, it is the other way around. Okay. So I have some questions here. There are some participants I could see here. And you are seeing here two sentences, okay? Of, one is option one is shifting from compliance to operational excellence, and option two is delivering compliance through operational excellence. So as an audience, or let's say as an individual, which option would you like to choose, option one or option two? And Shantanu, sir, you can tell me what are the answers that we are getting, because I
Yes,
probably will
there.
be able to see the chat
Chat.
box.
Let me just see. I've seen request all the audience to just to share their response, please, in the chat box. I'm seeing option two. Option two for many. Option two, option two, option two.
Okay.
Yes.
That's actually the the dynamics of the complex regulatory framework that we are in. That earlier, probably 15 years back, we would have chosen option one, but now it's always going to be option two. So can we say that if we are choosing option two, so can we say that if we focus on operational excellence, we automatically will comply with the compliances, right? I mean, let's put it this way, that, focus on this so that our compliances levels will we will have confidence of our compliances. So, another question before I start with you. So when we use the word high performance, what does really a high performance mean to you? Because it's a very subjective term. And what do we really mean by high performance in the food industry?
Can we
Rama ma'am?
can
Yeah.
we have the audience responses, please? When we mean high performance, does it mean high quality, or does it mean a strong revenue focus? growth, or some kind of a business maturity, or winning more and more awards?
Oh, that's the answer, ma'am.
It's a combination. We just because we are bombarded with marketing campaigns on a daily basis. Okay,
Correct.
so organizational business maturity performance is linked to all these taglines.
Correct, correct.
That's
And
one
if
of
we really see LinkedIn, it's all about awards, receiving, maximum posts are all about awards and other, this
that's why
thing.
specifically I was kind of listing all this. Maybe
Uh,
I could see that high quality with
mm,
food safety to consumers is one
mm,
response. Customer satisfaction, retaining customers, customer retention, customers. Yeah, that's one. Maybe some more answers for high performance. When we say high performance team, are people part of? It is also a consumer delight. I don't find people
okay.
at all anywhere.
Right. So when we are talking about high performance, essentially the answers are going into customer satisfaction and customer oriented, responses. So that's perfectly fine. That's what we are in. I mean, we are getting salary because of customers. So definitely there is nothing wrong in that answer. But is it only the customer satisfaction? And when we say, I believe that when we say customer, it means internal and external customer both, as per our management system, right? So we are talking about employee as well as customer satisfaction. So is it limited only to that, or what do we mean by really operational performance? So there is this term called operational excellence, right? And we have been using this term for donkey's years, and especially when we are into the management system, this is like one of the most spoken term. And operational excellence is nothing but business philosophy of focusing on achieving efficiency and effectiveness, innovation, sustainability, food safety and quality, which we have seen, this thing. And this is a common question that we ask, okay, we understand the difference between efficiency and effectiveness. So I would like to understand from the audience here, just one example, give me one example of difference between efficiency and effectiveness, just one example. Because then my rest of presentation is done. It's very easy.
Request the
Can I
audience,
request
please.
audience to just write down one example of what is efficiency and give example. I don't want the theory, but I would like to understand what is the example of efficiency and effectiveness. Have you got any answers, ma'am?
Checking. I have not request the audience. Achieving efficiency in a business
So,
environment. What does it mean? At least one example. She wants an example of organization achieving efficiency.
madam, there are two persons that I
Mm-hmm.
may I tell in the this mechanical term, machine terms
Mm-hmm.
in general. Okay, if I go by the machine terms, we have two machines.
Mm-hmm.
If the machines are working efficiency, right? So I am getting more output from the same kind of system.
Mm-hmm.
That is the efficiency. If I go by the effectiveness, how close I am to that requirement, that is the effectiveness. Let us say if doing the saving, I can do saving much more quantity in lesser time, it is an effective efficiency. If it is much more accurate to the desired results, I am getting the 95% of the results, 80%. That is the efficiency, effectiveness. And this is the everybody's systems, right? I think I
I
am
have
close
some
to that.
examples.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Sorry, Shantanu sorry, you're
Yes, yes,
finished.
madam, please.
I have seen some examples you were asking from Parag Kumar. While driving, reaching the destination is effectiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Reaching the destination in minimum fuel. I think it got cut. Yeah, in minimum fuel, achieving the target versus achieving with minimum resources.
Perfect. Perfect.
And
Very
we have
good.
Saurabh Shuklaji saying that efficiency is to achieve maximum output.
Mm-hmm.
Effectiveness is how much good food is produced.
Absolutely. So now, Paragji, you are absolutely bang on, and I must appreciate you. A good compliment to you for this. So now, if you are driving and if the vehicle broke down and you spend some time, so will it impact your efficiency or will it impact your effectiveness? You are using the same fuel.
You
You are
can
using the
unmute
same
yourself,
quantity of fuel.
Paragji, you can unmute yourself and
You have not exceeded your fuel consumption. Your vehicle has broke down, and that's it. So is it impacting your efficiency or effectiveness?
Aarti, can he unmute because they're not muted, right? This is actually on a webinar platform, but I guess they can respond.
So from my point of view, it is effectiveness that will be effective. That will be
Correct.
effective.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Maybe
sorry.
he's unable
Absolutely
to.
right. Absolutely right.
I
And
think
this is exactly, what we are talking about is the operational excellences. If we have decided to do something, achieving that is, effectiveness, and optimum utilization of resources is efficiency. Innovation, and when I say innovation, it is not just the product innovation, it's also the technological innovations, sustainability, as well as food safety and quality. This is like, inbuilt requirement, food safety and quality. So how do we really do this? What are the key drivers for this? So we have regulatory compliance framework, and the regulatory framework, we know that there are horizontal and vertical regulations, and these regulatory complex framework is also helping in operational excellence, culture of excellence. Okay, so if the organization has a culture that I need to achieve more, I need to do my excel, my raise my bars, we call that as culture of excellence. I've been in this auditing field from last 25 years, and trust me, every time it is the client who raised the bar, because of which I have to train my auditors to go beyond this thing. Otherwise, it becomes only a tick in the box activity. So I always thank my client to raise the bar and say that, okay, I'm not happy. I want this. I want something more and more. So that's the culture of excellence. Process optimization, what we just saw, employee empowerment, sustainability and social responsibility, innovation and technology, supply chain optimization, and data-driven decision making. Now, this seems to be a very common thing. Okay, there is nothing new that we don't know about this, but are these really implemented in food and agriculture industry? That is a question mark. So let's see how this, how about these key indicators, how these are kind of, helping us in achieving high performance, right? So now when we look at the maturity model of high performance, I'm calling that as operational excellence right now, because the high performance is, again, operational excellence is a perceptive terms. But if you really see in terms of, the maturity level, the first is a reactive model, let's say reactive culture. इट्स कंप्लायंस फोकस, मुझे सिर्फ उतना ही करना है, बस मैंने इतना अचीव कर दिया, हो गया मेरा, मुझे और कुछ नहीं करना है, आई एम हैप्पी, दैट्स इट, मुझे प्रॉब्लम नहीं आ रहा है ना, दैट इज इट. Proactive culture is process oriented, which means that मुझे I need to streamline my processes. I need to go something beyond my regular things. मेरे पास मुझे फायर फाइटिंग नहीं करना है. That is a proactive one. And most of the companies stop, from reactive to proactive. उसके आगे का जो ये है, जो 3 levels आपको दिख रहे हैं, that is where food industry is, especially when we talk about the SME segment, that is where that segment, has a cutoff point. And then it comes to, the preventive, predictive, and innovative. And what does that mean? Preventive is data driven. There's so much of data generated, but that data utilization for taking an effective decision is not being done by many of the companies. Predictive is analytics driven, which means if these things, what is the trend that is going to happen? And now I will give you number of examples wherein we have vulnerability and other things in the food industry. So how this predictive analysis is helping us in taking care of the vulnerability assessment, especially with respect to raw material. And then innovation, which is a transformational culture. And if we take this maturity model, we need to decide where am I right now, where my industry is right now, and can I go to next level? Going to that next level is a high performance for that industry. It is as simple as that, right? It is not something कि मुझे एकदम से sustainability या social इस पे जाना है and all this thing. I need to go step by step, and these are the steps wherein we decide that, okay, this is where what are the indicators of each level, and each level is telling me that, okay, when do I go with the timelines to the next level. So this is something, this is what we call it as, the step by step process. 5 levels of operational maturity: the beginning level, the emerging level, the scaling level, the optimizing level, and the innovating level. Okay, so first part, let's identify where is my organization, and now identify in my organization where are the steps. Am I at the beginning level? Am I at the emerging level? Or am I, do I need to scale up my processes like documentation, standardize, optimize, widely adopted? I do have some documentation, but वो जितना चाहिए उतना ही है, उतना required documentation है, but I don't have a structured documentation. Then I have to refer to personal diaries and other things. No, that is not what we are looking at. That is also, when we are streamlining this thing, is also high performance, because from one level we are going to the next level. Right. So when it comes to, these part, which is the maturity levels of operational excellence. So we are basically talking about people, process, technology, finance, and business. Okay. That's the x-axis, and the y-axis, you can see that we have operational. So from operational excellence to unaware. So if we take the levels, so I might have unaware culture. I have sporadic awareness culture. I'm aware. I'm defined and committed culture. I have integrated processes, and the last level is the operational excellence. And what does that mean for entire, from people, process, technology perspective? So this chart is always talking about something like, what is it? What is the level of maturity with respect to each parameter I need to achieve? So for example, if it's unaware culture, you can see that it's a random, non-organizational, processes are not formal, not defined. There is hardly any technology used. Finances are no or limited finances. But if there is a sporadic awareness, and if I go to the finance one, it's a reactive spending. So I'm still spending, but it's more of a reactive spending. Kuch problem aa gaya, let me take uska, I'll buy a equipment because there is a problem. So it's not something that I'm thinking for future and then I'm, looking at it. In the awareness culture, for let's say for finance, I am doing some investment. It's still minimal, but it's like a thoughtful. Okay, what is my budget? This is where I need to be. This is my target, and I'm doing something this. Defined culture will have investment on ROI focus. That, okay, this is the investment I'm doing. These are the 1,000 days of my ROI, and I should get, returns in this part. Integrated ones, and then the operational excellence. So operational excellence means drives innovation and entrepreneurial values. And that is something, there is a definite budget, definite dissing for, R&D, definite dissing. Otherwise, typically, when we talk about R&D in the food industry, okay, I am replacing A ingredient with B, and that B ingredient should be cost effective with something, probably this thing. But that is not really a R&D. R&D will talk about, okay, in next 5 years, this generation X, this generation Z, which we are talking right now, probably if you see them, they don't like to chew food. Because they are too much into digital gadget and other thing. If you have observed them, they like to gulp. They like to have something जहाँ पे उनको मतलब chewing is something they, okay, chewing चल रहा है, but their interest is more of a gulping. So then if that is the case, then will my product, which has got more chewing and other thing, will it sustain after some time? So this is just a wild example, but then that's something what we are analyzing, that what is going to happen in next 5 years, right? So considering all these things, what we call it as, we have operational excellence management system. This concept is more popular in the IT industry. Rama ma'am can vouch on this term being used very widely in the IT segment. When we talk about FSMS, I mean food industry, is essentially we are talking about quality management and food safety management system. Of course, there is management system, but this is all about operational excellence management system. And if we introduce this concept in the food industry, the amount of firefighting, I mean, if you see this part, sporadic awareness, there is firefighting, always some kind of limited infrastructure over here. So that firefighting will stop and we go more towards a matured and structured processes. So what does this mean? So we have, if you see the outer circle, we have engagement, engagement and commitment. Then the second circle is now there are, so this talks about the, safe operations, cultural part. Then this talks about learning, organization, etc. Then we have competence. In the competence segment, we are looking at competence. Now, if you see here, it's not about the general competence. What we say is, education, experience, and this thing. Competence also to understand the risk, right? Competence also to take, risk management. And that is something wherein we are looking at not just the job, the knowledge of that particular thing, but something, okay, because we are in the business, and in the business, the risk-taking ability always will talk about where my business is going to be. And that is what is really a risk management, what is a calculative risk, what is a non-negotiable risk. All these things is a part of competence activity. Then within the risk management, we prepare. Typically, we prepare through HACCP, ASCP, TACCP in food industry. Now, if we, conceptually, we all understand this, but trust me, I have done more than 3,500 audits, nowadays, I don't do audits too much. But if I really see this in the spirit of how that, risk management methodology has to be done, majority of the time it is really a copy paste of activity, and we really don't understand that, we do vulnerability assessment, but the purchase guy is not involved. The distribution guy is not involved in that. We do threat assessment, but the security guys, okay, one or two sensitive area identification, site security identification, but in reality it becomes more of a paper exercise than the reality exercise. And that is exactly, this risk management is about. The third one is the learning organization, and the last one is the SMS, which is the supply management system. So this is something, most of the people are looking at how is your supply chain is being, efficiently managed. We do number of second party audits, and in the second party audits, the supplier score is reduced down because they don't have control on their suppliers. And that is where, the overall score of this company gets reduced down, which are in turn supplying to maybe companies like McDonald's, Burger King, Yum, and these kind of people, right? So this is the overall framework of this. So now this particular part, if you see industry 4.0, now this industry 4.0, what we know is the data analytics, the IoTs and this thing which is being used. If we don't use this thing, this part is completely going to be missed. Nowadays, most of the conferences are incomplete without, if you don't talk about AI, if you don't talk about IoT and other things. But if you personally ask, the CEOs, are you using artificial intelligence? Are you using IoT? And the answer becomes almost like no. They say, okay, nahi, matlab humne suna hai, but we are not really using it. And trust, in today's world, if we don't use Industry 4.0, probably we would not be in a position to go towards high performance, right? So what are the strategies for high performance? So number one definitely becomes the supply chain management, supply chain high performance. And now here, when we talk about supply chain, and you Google out, I can tell you that most of the time it will always become, supply chain, logistic and transportation. बस इसके ऊपर ही आपको आएगा. आज मैंने एक, tomorrow, actually I'm right now at Gulf Food, and tomorrow I'm moderating a session on supply chain, resilient and secured supply chain. And I was preparing for that, and most of the things were only about, that is important. The logistics storage is important, but that is not just the supply chain. It has got number of things, and number 3 point, which is the leverage of data analytics for predictive insights, is the most important aspect of supply chain nowadays. Okay, so this is something, so if I have to give you examples of high performance supply chain, probably you would have seen this, supply chain optimization, like PepsiCo. You would know that they are into, these are just example. I know there are a number of examples wherein, the integration till farm level, integration till use of, limited use of natural resources and all these things. This is where, the supply chain is going into. Nowadays, if you just say कि मैं trader से buy कर रहा हूँ and I'm manufacturing the product and selling it, will not work. Now, the way regulation is changing. Shantanu you have raised your hand, Shantanu?
Yeah, madam. Time limitation.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So the ITC digital farms, EUDR, now EUDR 7 crops. If we don't do geotagging, if we don't know who are my farmers, probably we will not be able to sell product in EU. Innovation and technology, so adoption of precision agriculture, and this is something becoming, important. Blockchain, AI, machine learning, IoT sensors, this thing. So we should have, structured funded R&D, AI for retailers. Now I mean, just to give you example, I am aware of time constraint, but just to give you example, now, if you go to a retailer, I mean, typically what happens, a salesperson, he understands where is my position, product, placed at the retail outlet. So वो देखता है कि, what are the other products, where is it kept, and that's it. Now it's the technology has gone that, okay, you take the photo and AI will analyze where is your photo, where is your product with respect to your competitors, whether the positioning is done or not. So you just need to identify what are the touch points on which I need to use AI so that I get the right data analytics, right? Alternate proteins, edible coating technology, and so on. That's the innovation. Data-driven decision making. I have already told about this. And now if I can give you a number of examples on alcohol and beer industry, inter-unit performances, then monitoring reproductive cycles in animal or meat or dairy industry, food safety and quality compliances. So data is captured, we capture that, but then that analytics through tools is important. Okay, talent development and engagement, employees are assets. No talent goes waste, no training goes waste. Don't, I mean, it's a cultural thing that we need to have, that, okay, training is not waste of time, waste of money. It is, it's a part of our development activity. Sustainability and social responsibility. Number of examples on zero wastage, carbon neutral, water neutral, fair trade, and all those things, right? So other strategies, regenerative agriculture, farm to table, traceability, vertical farming, digitalization of farming operations, number of things are there. There are options available. We need to know what is it that I need to choose, where is my organization in that matrix, what is it that I need to do, and that's all about it. And this is just a slide which was for Food Chain ID, which is an American company working on multiple sectors with nearly 50,000 plus customers. These are just some of the list of our customers. So sorry for running out on that, Shantanu. I'm sorry for exceeding the time.
You are on time, madam. You are very much in time. Thanks for the very this insightful session. And your example of gulping the food and chewing the food, I have a little different version. Yeah? Okay, so madam, should we invite the next speaker, or we go for the question answer for this
If you
particular
can go
session?
for question answer, then, I can, because I'm right now
Yeah.
with this thing. So if there are questions, I can address that.
Yeah. Any quick one or two questions from the audience? Ms. Bansal, please do bear with us just 5 minutes. Yeah. Audience, any specific questions to Chinmay? I'm so glad and happy that she roped in that innovations angle, and then the focus on AI and machine learning and the industry 4.0, 5.0. We are all talking about, even we have gone beyond 4.0 now in many sectors.
Yeah,
So
absolutely, ma'am.
I'm so glad that you're touching upon all this, because actually industry is very weak when it comes to addressing these
Absolutely.
innovations, and the problem statements are elsewhere. Maybe Shanmuga Kumar will take us through that later, but the solutions that are being offered at the marketplace are totally different. So any
Yeah.
particular specific question, please?
Yeah. I mean, nowadays, ma'am, they say that the line between disorder and order is AI.
No, it is, the disorderliness has become the norm of the day also. That is the reason why we need innovations, because unmet needs is again very loosely used term at the marketplace, and who's actually defining this unmet needs also is a big question mark. So that focus on innovations to that agility is what is actually missing at the industry also. So these are all, this is the future. This is where the innovators have to really come up with alternatives, like proteins, green products, and green food and all that. But we are only seeing greenwashing in the marketplace. Yeah, some question, I guess.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
10 minutes,
please.
why not?
Chinmay ma'am, thank you so much. In fact, you properly set a context for me. So I really thank you for that. So of course, ma'am, you're absolutely correct. So even though the technology is available, but in terms of usage on the ground level, it's almost nil, I would say. So being working in mango industry, especially we deal with mango farmers for last 3.5 years, we were seeing like, so even when we try to make them understand like, this is important, they had a proper resistance from them also. So that's a big challenge where we are trying to break it. So and one more common problem, especially, okay, right now I'm speaking about only the export, ma'am, especially the fresh fruits and vegetables export. So India's actually, we are producing good amount of fruits and vegetables, but why we couldn't play a big role in the global export market? So what is the main reason for it? So far, as for my understanding so far, so we don't actually follow good practices in the farm. So one problem, and especially we use excess fertilizers, excess pesticides, and that eventually leads to above the MRL content. So which is leads to more rejection, and we don't have a proper post-harvest infrastructure in our country where we can able to properly post-harvest process, especially pre-processing and proper packing and cold chambers, and in fact in supply chain. So like, how can we, okay, upon you have been in this for multiple decades, so maybe what maybe your suggestion to solve this problem, especially in the fruits and vegetables?
Okay. So if I give answer, probably I'll eat up the, next speaker's time. So I would, give it short. So let me just tell you the barriers are, tariff and non-tariff barriers. It's not just one aspect of it. There are government policies, right from government policies to anti-dumping policy and multiple things, that play a vital role that many a times become a starting point. And then non-tariff barriers become something like, there are genuine barriers and then there are political barriers as well. So then, so it doesn't become like, one particular reason. It is very much crop dependent. I mean, I was talking to somebody today, he says, I'm selling peanut, in Europe. And from last 1 decade, and there is no single rejection. Now we know that when we talk about peanut, it's always the aflatoxin levels in the product, what we are seeing, and product being rejected. And this guy is saying that, okay, there is no peanut rejection that has happened in the entire Gujarat, from last so many years, which has gone to Europe. So there are multiple political as well as, food safety or quality reasons as well, driven by number of things. So we can catch up separately on multiple, uh, when you're saying mango, we'll specifically talk about mango, post this thing. With USA, they are more on the fruit flies, and the political part also plays a very high, contributor very high in the export part.
Okay. Ma'am, if that's the case, then I'll be very happy to understand more about the political aspects, and so that will help us to take a better decision.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay.
One question, because I don't find any other questions from the audience. Quick question, actually, because coming from a tech industry, and maybe I guess yours is the one of those CBs or the only CB which has a strong foothold into global regulatory frameworks, understanding, and a little bit matured, actually. When we're talking about performance, when we're talking about compliances to performance, I just wanted to know, because you touched upon this recalls earlier, as a country, because you're working in it's a global brand, you're there across the globe, it really helps us as an industry also to know from a country what is the kind of recalls of various food and agri products from various countries in the global marketplace. Really helps us as a country to improve our product performance, and even for the industry for that matter, where this kind of dashboards are available in a public domain. We forget about the governments, forget about them, because even regulators don't kind of have this kind of a data. And I just wanted to know, where do we get to see all this? It's not,
Thank
see,
you,
it
ma'am.
doesn't mean that recalls are happening from a particular country, doesn't mean that we are weak or we are bad, but then, lack of awareness, it really helps us to understand more about the importing countries' regulations. Some trade portals from Government Commerce Ministry have attempted to introduce all this now, and so I just wanted to know your thoughts.
Sure, ma'am. So actually, since you touched this point, we at Food Chain ID, we have that database. We monitor rejections from 180 countries. And we also have commodity specific complete rejection database with respect to multiple things. And it's something I can tell you, if I just take India's example, and if I tell you, you will be shocked to hear that in last 5 years, about more than 9,500 plus containers has been rejected or recalled, or something has happened to them. There is ultimately rejection of more than 9,500 plus containers of various commodities. This analysis is actually available, and we can provide that analysis commodity specific, reason specific, pesticide specific, whatever it is, and then actual actions can be taken. It is important that we all come together and take a specific action to take care of that. Now, when we say aflatoxin is not at the probably this thing. It is more of a handling practices. Pesticide is more of a bad agricultural practices. Salmonella is again the bad let's say production practices. So we can actually take, like example, spices. We take seafood. We take this thing sector wise. We can actually do the analysis, and that specific actions, because our database also has the name of the company whose product is rejected, by which country, for what reason.
Amazing.
That really helps us. Thank you so much. Maybe we'll invite Food Chain ID to do a session for the industry later on some of the specific items. It will really help the industry also. At the end of the day, we as a country should be benefited from the market access and to be part of the global supply chain. So how can we achieve that? All
Sure,
this kind
ma'am.
of orientations will help actually. Thank you so much. Thank you for that.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Hello, Subodh sir. Pleasure to see you.
Hello, how are you? Long
Good.
time. Hmm?
Yes, yes, sir.
Good
Thank
at
Thank
you.
least
you.
to see you online. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Thank
I'm
you,
sorry
Subodhji.
I joined little late. There was some system problem. So wherever the organizers can bring me in, it is fine.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, John, for joining us, Jindalji. Appreciate. Thank you. Over to you, Shantanu ji. No, you're muted, Shantanu ji.
Welcome, Jindal sir. So it's very
Hello.
nice to
Thank
have
you.
you on board.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Same here.
We,
Yes. Please.
we just have a session with Chinmay madam, and she
Yeah.
herself is an institute.
Yeah.
So, madam, sir, may request you to please begin your session, or if
Please,
you're okay with that.
we'll go ahead with Deepika Bansal's session, Shantanu ji.
Okay, let us say.
Fine. Thank you.
Okay, so Deepika madam,
Yes,
are you
sir.
there?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm here. Yeah.
okay. Welcome, madam. So Deepika madam is from FSSA, and as a regulatory body, what the regulations should be there as far as the, I would say, the performance is being concerned. I think she has to put some light on that. Yes. Over to you, madam, please.
Yeah, thank you for inviting, sir, for this webinar. And I'm likely to present my views on this topic. Would I be able to share the screen?
Yeah, please. Sure.
Please.
Is it visible?
Yes, please.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm Deepika Bansal. I'm Technical Officer Lead in Sciences Standards Division. Currently, I'm like holding uh, I'm associated with 11 scientific panels, mostly are vertical panels, and for the last this year since 2024. And before that, I was engaged with the three scientific panels with respect to milk panel, cereal panel, and then organic products. So since I'm associated with the vertical panels and all, so the challenges are faced with what we make standards, develop standards, enforce them, and the responsibility of FBO to take it further. I'll throw some light on this navigation of FSS Act and its regulation in India and its responsibility towards global. Starting with the mandate, the preamble of FSS Act. FSS Act, it has been created to lay down science-based standards for article of food and to regulate their manufacture, storage, distribution, sale and import to ensure availability of safe and wholesome food for human consumption. The act was developed for like the paradigm shift from PFA and this all other repealed act. Why the FSS Act was established? The main was to remove the multiple food laws. As we are moving towards one window concept, the FSS Act has been established to remove the multiple food laws, standard setting, multiple so that a single window to standard setting, and single window for the enforcement agencies, so that it can be easy for the everyone, every stakeholder to connect. And the base of FSS is the self compliance. It's the equal responsibility of not, in fact, more than equal, the responsibility of FBO to implement the standards which have been laid down by the FSSAI to implement to and then whether it is through third party auditing system is basically the compliance by the FBO. FSSA as is responsibility through the scientific panels. We have 21 established scientific panels, vertical and horizontal. We make science-based standards and aligning it with the international standards with such as Codex and various other. We while framing standards, we take into picture Codex standards and other established standards like EFSA, whether it's USFDA and all these things, so that the the transparency and to improve the trade, because the ultimate aim is the trade. And then to promote trade and to promote the ease of doing business, we also notify the regulations whenever we make changes, or whenever we go through the new regulations, we draft new regulations, we always notify along with notifying it in India for the comments. We also practice to notify under the WTO SPS for the comments, for the international comments, for informing the other member countries that what India has been doing, has been developing new standards, or is being revising the standards, considering the global picture, considering the risk management, or the new innovations. The scope of innovation, this is the one thing which was never present in PFA or the erstwhile repealed orders, that we have the provision to bring new innovative food products, whether it is through the non-specified regulation or through stakeholders representation, which goes through the series of the scientific panel assessment and then through the scientific committee to the food authority. FSSA along this last 5-10 years has strengthened the infrastructure with hired equipments, has engaged like many not recognized many laboratory in pan India, has strengthened their labs, the own labs, and also the we time on time whenever we make some new regulations, or whenever there's some bigger change, we try to make some small guidance notes and all videos or blogs, and then we post it on to the various social platforms, so that the information is disseminated not only to the stakeholders, to the consumers also. The next slide goes to the who are covered under the FSS Act. FSS Act being the Penal Act of India, right farm to the fork, like raw material, food processor, slaughterhouse. So the every food business operator which is operating a food business in India has to be licensed or registered under FSS Act. Being in Science and Standards Division, what my responsibility, our team responsibility lies, goes through the scientific panels. We have 21 scientific panels. We have various expert committees like expert committee on organic foods and all, And then we have one scientific committee. The recommendation of the scientific panels goes to the scientific committee, which then further goes to the food authority. So it's not just one place. It's the whenever there's some change, whenever there's some new provision, whenever there's some revision, it's been taken care by a series of persons, series of experts, so that when it goes to the stakeholders, we face like the considering all the stakeholders views, and so that the ultimate aim is for the safe and quality food. We have till now, since 2011, we have established 22 technical regulations, and time on time we are publishing scientific and technical documents. Regulation, apart from the regulations, we given time to time we are issuing regulation guidelines, guidance documents or advisories in respect of like where some more clarity, more light has to be thrown on the regulations. A particular clause need to be made well aware to the stakeholders. We try to do the best practices uh, for that, best available practice for that. And apart from the main big bone, the main standard regulation, which is the additive regulation, food safety standards and food additive regulation, FSSA, the science standard, has also developed the vegan regulation. We have the organic regulation in place, Ayush, and then claims regulation, along with the non-specified food regulations. So basically, food safety, the whole motto, whether as a regulator, as a stakeholder, the mandate, the preamble, the purpose is to ensure access to the safe food, which is crucial for everyone to achieve at the end the good health and the well-being of the consumer. So we regulator, the person is a consumer. Every Indian is a consumer, whether it is a regulator also. So the end is to provide the safe food. The consider World Food Safety Day is also observed to highlight the importance of managing risks that affect the food security, public health, economic growth, and agriculture productivity, market opportunities, tourism, and sustainable development. This The World Food Safety Day is being organized every year to emphasize the need to transport food systems to promote sustainable health improvements, aim to reduce the prevalence of foodborne disease. So, food safety is just not a concern for the individual or for a family, but actually a joint effort of food regulators and the food and business beverage companies manufacturing or preparing the products to be consumed. So, coming on to the food safety compliance. The food safety compliance as a regulator includes the procedures and regulations which we lay down to prevent food supply contamination, so that the safe food is reached to the consumer. So FSSA plays a crucial role to ensure food safety, and then through a guided to the regulations to then to ensure that the product which meet the safety standards laid down by FSSAI and are accurately labeled as per the labeling regulation and are safe for consumption. Moving on to the next slide is the FSSA role, the role of as a regulator from confirmation to the performance of the food. What is the responsibility of FSSA? It is the first one is to establish the standards and guidelines. The foremost, the major regulation in food safety standards and food additive regulations, wherein um, all the food commodity vertical, the commodity like milk, cereals, oil, fats, sweets, confectionaries, spices, the quality standards, bare minimum quality standards are laid down. Apart from that, the microbiological standards are also available, and the annexure A is additives, and annexure C is processing aids, which are allowed for that particular commodity standards. And then the contaminants regulation laid down the various contaminants and its levels, and the pesticide regulation laid out the various MRLs of the pesticides allowed in India. And the packaging and labeling regulation both provides individuals the packaging norms, which are the packaging materials allowed under the FSSAI or BIS standards, and the minimum and the labeling provisions the, that should be given on the PDP for that consumer awareness, the consumer informed choice. And Apart from that, the new food ingredients additives are introduced timely and are notified on regular basis after the risk assessment done by the scientific panels, and then it is as recommended by the scientific committee also. The ultimately the FSSAI, how do they identify this FBO? It is through the licensing and registration. So all the food establishment, whether it is small vendor, whether it is a large manufacturer, whether it is an importer, or whether it is exporter, they must register and obtain a license as per the eligibility criteria under the FSS Act to ensure that the product meet quality and safety benchmarks. They to ensure that they have uh, uh, they have ensured they have implemented the Schedule 4 of the licensing regulation. They have implemented the food safety standards regulation and all associated regulation from the uh, production till it is reached to the consumer level. So this is basically the standard setting process. The risk assessment involves the wherein we receive some draft proposal, whether it is from a stakeholder, whether it is through independent taken to the FSSA, whether when we consider that some similar the standards has been established by codex or some new uh, innovations or new innovative products is being available into the Indian market scenario. The draft proposal, which is taken up by the scientific panels, there are experts under the scientific panel which goes through the draft proposals, go through the risk assessment data, and if required, they they go with the more research. They do the new projects and then come up with a proposal, whether it is revision or to a new standard. The proposal is sent to the scientific place before the scientific committee. The scientific committee further review it, which if they feel they need more data or some revision is required, they again send the proposal to the scientific panel, or if it is approved, then it is placed before the food authority. The food When it comes to the food authority, it comes to the risk management. The food authority is consists of various members from the other ministries, stakeholders, and from the state food safety department. Once it is approved by the food authority, it is it is sent to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and further it goes for the draft notification. Once it is draft notified, it is placed into the domestic stakeholders, the placed on the website for the comments of from the domestic stakeholders. For 60 days time period is given for to go through the revised this draft notification, or whether it's a new proposal. The comments which are received during this 60 days time period is been analyzed by the scientific panel and the secretariat of the scientific panel, and the further apart from this domestic stakeholder, parallelly this draft notification is also placed on the SPSTBT platform also. For the same 60 days time period is given for the comments time period. Both the comments, if received, they are placed before the scientific panel for analyzing, and if required, the changes to be brought in the draft notification, the changes made, and with the recorded rationale and the revised version, if any it is there, or if it is not revised the same, then goes for the final legal vetting, and then to the Ministry of Health for approval, and which is final notified. Once it is final notified, there's always a enforcement date, because something which is brought new cannot be just put to the to the food business operator to just implement, because they need a certain time period, whether it is respect to the packaging material, or whether to bring change into their system. So always at least 180 days time period is given to the stakeholders to for the enforcement, till the enforcement starts. And Once after 180 days, the enforcement, the whole regulatory system is applicable on that particular new proposal, new notifications. The second one, the role of FSSA comes to the ensuring compliance and the monitoring. FSSA ensures that the food product meets safety and quality benchmarks by surveillance and inspections. FSSA conduct inspections through the state food safety officials or through the central food safety officials. Um, Depend upon the high risk category, high risk food or the medium risk food or the low risk foods, the surveillance and inspections are carried out for the premises. And manufacturing during storage facilities or the retail outlets to ensure the food safety standards, the compliance of food safety standards. The sampling and testing also, the FSSA for the last since many years, last 5-6 years, we have now established a food safety laboratory network system, which tests the samples being sent by the food safety officials to that to know that they are in compliance to the food safety standards which are laid down in the regulations. And apart from that, FSSA goes with the risk assessment and management, time to time. They monitor risk to food safety and implements risk mitigation strategies. Sometimes we receive some food safety issues from India or from exporters, exporting countries. So in that case, if the specific that stakeholder is being connected and they are being guided, and so that the risk, they're guided to manage the risk. The next one, the responsibility of FSSA is the enforcement of food safety regulation. The foremost, the FSSA works closely with the state food safety departments. We have the in every state and UT we have their own food safety departments. Apart from our regional and sub-regional food safety central departments, both they work together to implement the food safety regulations.
Hello, who's
in India.
speaking?
Hi, sir. This is Meenakshi calling from Gurgaon.
Regarding?
Sir, are you interested in buying or selling property in
So,
Gurgaon?
madam, please continue. Yeah, we are limited.
Yeah, sorry. So the next role is the public awareness and training. FSSA is greatly involved in the capacity building and the training programs of the stakeholders. Um, it is one of its kind that the FSSA has developed. We have a well-established system wherein we train the stakeholders to the four-step training program, and otherwise also with the capacity we have regularly doing webinars or placing the blogs and then going through the trainings of the FBOs or regular training of the FSSA officials, so that the developments which FSSA is being made recent, the all are shared through the stakeholders to all the possible means which we feel. The next responsibility of FSSA is the enhancing transparency and consumer confidence. The consumer ultimate aim is, whether it is APO, whether it is FSSAI, is the consumer. Informed choice is the consumer safety. So the role in promoting transparency in food safety and ensuring consumers, the even Act provides the provision. This one, the food labeling standards, which is the foremost. The labeling of the package is the first foremost thing wherein the consumer, we give an informed choice to the consumer to buy a product as per the label, as per their requirement. It can, so that the label should be clear enough, it should be accurate, clear, and they all the nutritional information should be there, all the product information should be there, ingredient information should be there, so that the consumer can buy the product as per their choice, as per their requirement. For that, consumer awareness campaigns are also being done by FSSA through various media channels. We reach out to the various outreach programs. FSSA educate consumers there about the food safety, about the health risks, and the importance of reading food labels. We has like FSSA has many time organized various this campaigns and organized this training programs, and even the Nukkad Natak was there to create food safety awareness to the consumers to the children's by FSSAI.
Right.
We have the complaint redressal system. FSSA has a robust system of complaint redressal. We have our own portal where the complaints are received and then they are addressed as per the complaint details, whether it need to be sent to the food safety, whether it is state food safety department, whether it need to be sent to the regional departments. But as per the details of the complaints, the complaints are addressed regularly. So the more formal, one of the another role of FSSA is the continuous improvement. Something which is made today cannot last like ever. So it is the responsibility of FSSA also to go with the regularly go through the research and development innovations. The more are to we collaborate with the scientific institutes, bodies. We grant them the projects so and the support R&D for new developments, for new levels division of some if
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
some
madam. I think it's a very
some
dynamic, actually, yeah, the dynamic authority. Yeah.
yeah, because because something which is today with the new innovations, with the new like machines, something with more precision, the science, AI technology, more the
Exactly.
precision is the so the we can give more accuracy to the product and more level identification, more stringent, so that as earlier also Dr. Shanmugam said that our export rejection is more. So if we are adhering to the regulation, because FSSA is largely they are in harmonization with the international standards, just because of so that
Right,
our
right.
to promote trade at end. For the abute, what is important is trade. To promote trade,
Mm-hmm.
that's why we go we generally adhere, harmonize with the
Right.
international standard. And if you completely adheres with to the standard, there will be very less rejection of exports also. And to that's what the global standards, we ensure that uh, the FSSS standards are in alignment with the codex standards or with the major wherever possible, until unless there's some noted reason that why we are debating from the codex standards, or what it needs difference from considering the Indian scenario. And then stakeholder engagement. FSSC always welcomes stakeholders engagement on the emerging issues. We regularly engage with food industry stakeholders, whether it is through the food authority meeting, whether it is through the some stakeholders engagement. Recently we had it for the A1 A2 milk also. We had it for the vegan regulations also. Stakeholders engagement with for the various issues, the regular stakeholders engagements are being held so that we can understand the issues faced by them. We can understand the challenges faced by them and try to resolve as much as possible, including the stakeholders engagement includes with manufacturer, whether they are regulator, scientific experts. Sometimes they are being presented before scientific experts, so that uh, a direct communication, direct issues are addressed. The doubts are being clear between experts and the implementers, that is the FBOs. And to whether on that stakeholder engagement, whether we need to revise our standards, whether we need to be revise, or whether we need to bring more testing facilities, whether we need to identify more test in the manuals, the further process being taken by the FSSCI. Thank you. That's all with my light enlightenment on the FSSCI standards implementation.
Thanks, madam. So here we have one query regarding that. Mr.
Yeah.
Anurag Gupta's query is there. Anurag sir, may I dictate your query or so this is that as a common man looking to understand what regulations are there for vegetable and food supply chain farm to fork.
echo here. Just trying to.
Hello. Yes. For the fruits and vegetable.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm repeating, as a common man
Yeah.
looking to understand, so what he wants to know, that what regulations are there for vegetable and fruit supply chain from farm to fork. It is about the supply chain,
Yeah.
specifically related to fruits and vegetables.
Yes. If I say fruits and vegetables, say they are not processed. Generally, they are not. So one is they are mostly sell in the packaged food. If it is like being brought out of the package, you need to consider. And the
Madam, there is some echo
contaminants
Just a second.
there was some echo.
No, no, we'll just.
Might be two speakers are there
No,
at your
just.
end. So it
Subodhji,
is there. Some echo is there.
Subodhji.
So, okay. Yes, madam.
No, 1 second. Shantanu ji will ask her to continue. I'm just requesting Dr. Subodh Jindal. Sir,
Yeah.
actually, you have logged in from 2 devices, I think. Maybe both the devices in the same place is creating an echo. I'm just trying to figure out.
Okay, let me look at this. Let me look at this.
Just a request, sir, actually. That's fine.
Yeah.
When 2 devices are connected next to each other, this echo issue happens.
Yeah. So, yes, please, madam. Could we continue? Sorry.
Yeah, please
for the
continue.
fresh fruits and vegetables, the primary responsibility is with the MRLs of the pesticides and residue, and I think the packaging material. This is the foremost, which I feel the responsibility of the FBO to ensure, and the consumers that the pesticides which are allowed, the MRLs are
All
with.
right. Yes. Thank you. So, thank you, madam. We have a very detailed understanding of deficiency in this working, as far as the various scientific panels and activities are concerned. So, if any query is there, we will get back to you. Hope you will be there till end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. So, sir, Dr. Subodh, may I invite you to please have your views, your directions, how to proceed further, what will be the future, and how to follow future. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Shantanu. Am I audible?
Yes, very much, sir.
Very much.
Okay. Uh, it's encouraging that the Consultants Consortium of Chennai and IFA have curated this webinar. And this is at the end of November month, which is dedicated to quality. I am grateful to Dr. Jory, a stalwart in the quality domain, for giving me this opportunity to participate in these deliberations. Friends, as I learned, the theme of this webinar was on quality. Okay. The topic allotted to me is transforming performance into compliance through creative practices. The key words here are performance, compliance, and practices. Normally, when we say compliance, it means regulation, and regulation includes enforcement. However, looking at the sentiment of today's theme, we would like to discuss holistically from the grassroots as to what goes wrong in maintaining or sustaining quality. We are talking of practices. Practices at grassroots do not match with the prescription or the expectation. The main issue is how and why ground practices differ from the requirements, and what corrective measures have to be taken so that performance moves towards enhanced compliance. Friends, practices need improvement at different levels. I would like to focus very sharply on how quality can be enhanced by
ensuring or creating good practices. Okay. Now, firstly, at the infrastructure level, beginning with post-harvest practices of aggregation, transportation, storage, and handling, there is deviation. Some of these practices overlap with good agricultural practices, which are not being implemented very well despite all the efforts made by the government. You see, we speak of so much on regulation. The learned speaker before me explained in good detail on what FSSAI regulations does. Fine. But are we looking at the ground reality or not? That is the real question. Now, if we are talking of quality food, and the ground reality is that good agricultural practices are not being followed properly, then our talking of regulation becomes, uh, very weak. Now, the processing industry comes to a dead end when it receives mixed lots of ripe, unripe, blemished, spoiled, ungraded, dirty agri commodities. Precious cost, energy, time are lost, and food quality begins to slide at the first step itself. Here, creativity will mean educating the farmers, providing farm gate facilities so that the basic condition of the agri-horticultural produce which goes to processing is at least at a minimum expected level. And I think very little attention is being paid in the country to this aspect, even by the regulatory authorities. Now, this requires a nationwide thinking and drive, which I do not know can be taken up in what manner. Secondly, we are immensely worried on giving quality product to the consumer. But there are anomalies primarily at the policy level itself. Creativity required here is to rapidly change practices of using chemical fertilizers and pesticides in agricultural and horticulture produce, of antibiotics and steroids in veterinary practices, and strict control of sources of infection in poultry and slaughterhouses. I think we should all first see, are we able to do that? We can draw any number of product samples under, in enforcement in FSR regulations. But what will be the result if we are not able to handle the prima facie condition? Considerable effort is being made by various people in this direction, but the ground position is still far from satisfactory. We have all types of harmful farm residues, which need serious policy planning, execution, if a good level of quality has to be maintained. We have to develop, and these are creative actions that we have to take to develop natural organic alternatives to the chemical ones or the drug inputs and adopt improved practices. Now, these two things which I have mentioned on infrastructure level and at the policy level, I request all stakeholders to take note of this. Because you see, PFA came into existence in 1955, 1954. And now we are 70 years ahead. And still we are struggling with these fundamental issues. Why? I mean, this is something which each one of us has to take very seriously. At the third level, Creativity is required in the case of loose and open food being sold in the country in huge quantities. We know that only 10 to 15% of food is packaged, while 85 to 90% of it is sold in loose, in the open form. Food quality goes for a toss in such a situation. Do we have any measures for that? Regulation does not. There is no other platform so as to say effectively where this thing is being handled. It needs to be, we have to admit that as of now, we do not have a solution to this menace. Creativity here will lie in spreading consumer awareness and improving the socio-economic practices of the consumers. Commodity-wise special attention is also required. For some items at least, such as milk, spices, cooking oil. We all of us know how much quantum or percentage of milk is synthetic in the country. Where does it come from? Why? What are our measures to check that? And that is not only quality, that is much beyond quality. It issues, even safety or hazard or injurious to health, everything. Similar problem is with spices and cooking oil, which are most vulnerable. Now, somebody has to tag these issues. Without looking at these, talking about quality would not make any difference. Now, at the fourth level, I would like to share that creative solutions are required in our regulatory system also. I'll just give you just one example. There are dozens of examples. But if I request to this be taken seriously, you see, the existing practice of adjudication and legal proceedings of FPOs at long distances in different states and regions of the country, where product samples are taken. Entrepreneurs, most of them, 90% of them, are in the MSME sector because that is where the food comes from in the country. If we have 140 crore people and they need 3 meals a day, 400 crore plus meals come from where? That is the MSME sector. It is not fun food or entertainment food. And if that sector, where units do not have legal manpower, the entrepreneur has to travel long distances multiple number of times to attend to legal proceedings related to their products wherever samples are being taken. And there they are brutally harassed and exploited because the regulatory and legal system there knows that it is not easy for the entrepreneur to come repeatedly for hearings. What will happen? The entrepreneur suffers in terms of time, money, cost, energy, harassment, and cannot attend to his production activities and quality management. We speak of quality, we speak of safety, but we are not attending to or thinking about the irritants or hurdles which lead to that. And the only simple answer is that industry is doing wrong. Okay, there will be instances where industry is doing wrong and should be caught and punished. But these are certain basics which we have not been able to resolve for 70 years. Somebody has to talk about it. And if we have learned people sitting here in such, discussion forums, this should be taken very seriously. Now, a creative solution for this would be to hold the adjudication and legal proceedings of FBOs in the state of their licensing. Why should I sitting in Delhi have to go to Visakhapatnam or Ernakulam or Chennai or Guwahati. Why waste time, money and exert? Why can't a person from Rajasthan can be adjudicated in Rajasthan somewhere, where he can go attend to that, come back, and at the same time, side by side, attend to his production and quality requirements. I have said this many times, right to the level of our chairman of FSSAI, CEOs of FSSAI, and at the directors levels, and it is totally being ignored. Yes, there will be difficulties. Some arrangements have to be made. Some permissions will have to be taken in the law from the government. How those things can be shifted or transferred. But finally, the FSO who is doing it, or the DO who is doing it at one place, FSSI has same level FOs and DOs at the other state also. They can be earmarked the case. Some solutions can be found. When it is hurting so much, we cannot ignore it. So this is one creative requirement if we want to really ensure safety and quality of food. This is beyond regulation. Now, I will come to another practical aspect, a very personal reminiscence of experience of my almost 50 years in the industry. I recall times when inspectors from FPO, which is also the regulatory body at that time, they would visit production units, sit with entrepreneurs, and together develop solutions to improve the unit's infrastructure system and working practices. And today we are talking about practices. That was the real way to do it. The purpose of the visit was improvement through guidance and encouragement, and not by using enforcement challans and memorandums and create a divide. The inspectors also gave solutions for improving the product quality. With their wide-ranging experience and technical know-how, where they have visited dozens of units, looked at hundreds of products in their working, and they know what are the technical typical problems and how to solve them. They would share that guidance with the entrepreneur. And this was a very healthy process. This developed the entrepreneur's confidence in the quality process. The units improved significantly in this way. At times it even happened for the MSME sector, particularly I am saying, which are 90% in the country, an improvement is required in the flooring of a unit, and it cost, a certain sum, which the entrepreneur is not able to manage immediately. He asked for a month for doing that, and that was provided to him. And then he worked on it and got it done. The purpose is to get it done and not to punish him only. Okay. Now, the creative solution here will be that current FSOs should be technically sound to be able to provide practical solutions to improve the working practices. I am again underlying the word practices, which is the theme of the topic which is given to me. Without creating fear complex and coercion, which is the practice of today. It will never work. It has never worked in 70 years. It will never work in the future also. Quality will be strengthened if there is comfortable sharing of ideas. I would not hide to say that FSSI's working approach in this regard, I'm specifying in this regard, needs to be reviewed. And some senior level, thoughtful people, very dedicated people, which we have in FSSI, needs to attend to this aspect also. This is only one example of the regulatory framework which I have given of the long distance education problem, which is crippling the industry's safety and quality adoption. Now, the other thing which I want to again refer to practices. Industry practices need to be refined. I fully endorse that. There are aspects of the use of food additives. If the book says we can use, say, 1 dozen food additives in a product, and I use all of those 1 dozen, even if, I can avoid some of them. Why not? Similarly, there are issues on the levels of salt, sugar, fat, and a lot of issues on the claims being made in advertising. These are concerns which are in the industry's, side. This can be best improved by developing a strong sentiment toward consumer service among all stakeholders, and that should begin with raw materials and ingredient providers. 90% of the problem starts with the ingredients, and handling and other things are the next level. Another method to imbibe good practices is to create role model examples. Large industry is more learned, possesses latest techniques, and is better placed in their operating systems. They can set quality examples. When consumers are satisfied with the products of the large sector, the remaining sectors will have to follow them through competition itself. As of now, even large scale does not enjoy consumer confidence in their claims of, say, rapid child growth or making children quick champions by using certain products. This has to somehow stop. And only it will stop when all of us together think about it. The regulator alone cannot do it. Okay. I will give just one. I'm just touching examples. One example where we have not been able to gain consumer confidence, and that is honey. Even though honey is manufactured and marketed by eminent brands, consumer is still not confident with what we are doing. Which means this is one bucket of food additives, product claims, and setting the example as a role model, which has to be brought in some way. And the practice will improve thereafter. A couple of more points. I would like to support a few creative ideas which has been adopted by FSSAI, and we applaud them. For example, generating awareness for quality and safety in homes, in offices, at the marketplace, for street food, in community events, in schools, in railways, in restaurants, and in society in general. Initiatives like the Right Eat movement, school health guidelines, improving street food practices, even simple things like designing sanitary carts, and good food display cabinets, laying protocols for serving food on tracks, and obviously improving the infrastructure. These are attempts which are very well taken, and all stakeholders should appreciate, and they should be emphasized and taken up more seriously at all levels. Now, the next thing is quality is important to all of us, and it is becoming more and more so. Because in most households, we rely on prepared food from the market. The household is working and there is no time. This increases the responsibility of the supply chain many folds. It is not an easy task. One creative answer would be, let the consumer be aware enough to demand quality. When consumers look for gloves and caps on food handlers or servers, they come. If the consumer wants that, consumer is aware and involves himself or herself into what is basic necessity, the quality will come. And we should appreciate that. Now, I think all quality promotion bodies in the country have to come forward, work together voluntarily, and industry should pitch in therein also. Now, the final thing I would like to say, and that is my very long adopted feeling, that quality is never by chance. Quality is the result of thoughtful effort. It comes by effort. It doesn't happen. There has to be a will to produce a superior product. Now, unless this feeling is embedded in the supply chain, how will it come? I would like to say that quality is not a regulation driven thing. Quality does not come by punishment. Quality is an inspired phenomenon, an obligation of the industry and the supply chain towards the consumer. This principle has to be highlighted. It has to become a nationwide movement. Okay? And I think there are certain nations in the world who have been successful in doing it. If Germany or Japan or Korea or Israel or Switzerland can adopt quality, we should be able to do it as well.
Right, sir.
We should be able to. We are no less than any of them in knowledge, in intellect, in IQ, or in education, or in systems.
Intention is missing, sir.
Pardon?
The intention is the missing.
Yes. The training, the intention, the feeling, the commitment, and the motivation.
Right.
This is not a regulatory matter. I will repeat there. This is totally different.
That's really great, sir. So what I understood that it is all about performance of confirmation.
Yeah.
That your discussion, this is what I understood. Right, sir? This is
Yeah,
about the
sure.
confirmation. Performance of confirmation, actually. It is to be improved.
Yeah.
And so
And
the second thing is that, yes, ground practices should be considered. Yes, please, sir. Over
yeah.
to you.
Yeah, just the last point, which I would like to add here. You see, imbibing quality needs creativity, innovation. It needs technology. It needs resources. And above all, mindset. Some of these ingredients are not readily available. It can happen. Technology or innovation or resources or finance is not readily available. But if the mind is inclined, it will slowly come. There will
Right,
be
sir.
ways to manage it. Okay. Now, I add here that as a creative solution, let us add quality as a part of our school and university curriculum. Let's ingrain in our minds of the next generation.
Right, sir.
That
So
there
what
has
I
to be,
understood.
yeah. So
So
we
what I
have to,
understood,
pardon?
please, sir. Sir, what I understood from your point is that quality is, I think it can't be teach. It is to be built in the culture,
It has to
right?
be built in a culture. You are very right. It has to be a training. It has to be a long-term perception. All together have to do it. And we are in a misconception that quality comes by regulation. It does not.
And so
And it
it is
cannot.
not, yeah, it is not related to the product itself only.
Yes.
I just
Okay.
quote an example of Tata's. So when Ratan Tata themselves, so there's a lot of condolences from across the society, not from
Yeah.
the particular segment, not from the
Yeah.
politicians, not from the industry.
That's right.
So that,
We have
so
all
that is
to
why
do
I
it.
say, yeah,
In
yeah,
fact,
yeah.
in fact, I mean, with due regards, the politicians or the senior bureaucrats sometimes don't have the time or the, involvement in something, on a subject.
Right.
Okay. And I think we will have
So
to set up product development and incubation centers to orient our minds to quality. And the next thing is we have to incentivize superior designs and recipes. If someone works on it, research is
Mhm.
required, commitment.
Right.
And if someone does it, we have to incentivize that person, support that person economically, otherwise, and reward the person. Then
Very
the
well, sir.
concept of quality will flow. The current practice in the system, and everybody, all of us in the industry are, to blame in that we cut
Sir,
quality to reduce the cost for quick selling.
right.
Okay.
So, okay, sir.
So
Uh,
I think I would not like to say much. There is a lot more to say, but I have, in whatever 15 minutes, 20 minutes you gave me, I put my thoughts and the gist of what we need to do. And I am very sure industry has to be as much a part of this process as anybody else, whether it is
very well, sir.
QCI or BIS or the ministry or agriculture ministry for the farm produce or the ministry of food processing or anybody else.
Very
We
well,
have
sir.
to do it
So,
jointly and raise the voice for it. Thank you very much, my
right.
dear friends.
But
Thank you.
sir, you have to be there. You have to be here. You are still here, huh? You will be still here.
Yeah, I am here. I am here. Yes. Please
That's
tell
very
me.
good, sir. Because yeah, Mr. Shanmugar Kumar is also there.
Yes.
Shanmugar Kumar. We will like to listen. He is very, sir, young professional, a
Yeah.
founder, a technocrat, and innovator as well.
Yeah, good.
Has done some.
What all I have said is from the ground experience, grassroots, from the industry clusters in backward regions also, urban regions also, everywhere in the country, from almost 50 years of first-hand involvement. So even if there is something which you think was not right, you may please ignore it. Okay?
Oh no, sir. Actually, it will be a very wonderful and practical insight into the industry and
Yeah.
what is going in the society as far as the compliances are concerned.
Yeah.
And now I invite, taking not much of time, Mr. Shanmuga Kumar and his experiences, his challenges, and his views.
Please.
Please, dear, welcome you
And
on board. Yeah.
thank you, sir. And
And sir, any question answer will be there. We will take in the end, right, sir?
sure, sir.
Okay, that's good. Please.
Yes. Yes, sir. So first of all, I should thank Dr. Sudhop sir. Sir, it was, in fact, I feel very blessed to listen your overall thoughts, and especially you gave the clarity of, like, how can we solve this problem? So,
Yeah.
so that was
Thank you.
very, 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 very insightful. And whatever the problem you said, right? It's completely true because we face the same problem in the mango ecosystem.
Yeah.
Every, like, each and every problem, every word that you have said was real in the field.
Right.
Yeah, so I felt like, right, for me, I felt it's kind of a
Which is
validation.
your region of work?
Sir,
Which is your,
we work
eh,
across country. Currently, we are in Chennai.
you are in Chennai? Okay.
Yes, so we work in
And any particular product area?
sir, mango post-harvest technology. We are developing a mango
Oh,
post-harvest technology.
good. So I've had good experience from Chittoor, Krishnagiri, the whole mango belt,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And also similar belts in the north. Yeah.
Maligabad.
Yes, Saharanpur,
Yes.
Lucknow, so
Yes.
many places.
Nagaraj, Chausa, Dasheri,
Malda.
get Malda. Yes.
Yes, yes.
So in fact, yes, okay, sir. So anyhow, let me know like what we are doing. So then later I'll put what we did in the last mango season.
Please.
Okay. So sir, I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please carry
please.
on, dear.
I'm listening. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I will be there.
Yes. Sir, I hope you can able to see my screen.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am. So hi. So first of all, I really blessed and I feel very happy to be that evening. And so the topic which has given to me is like, inclusive innovation in the food sector for strong food system supply chain. So like, in the previous conversation, they have properly set a context. So what should we really to do to solve the problem, correct? So the problem is very well settled. So with all the three speakers, they clearly define what is the problem, how can we solve it. So we are a small startup. Okay, we are basically an agri-tech startup. We work on agriculture technology, especially for mango. If you even ask me, in mango, we work only on the post-harvest. So yes, yes. Why? Because we cannot solve all the problem with a small team. One, and it's not like one hand solution we can give it. So each and every crop, the problems are different. Each and every crop post-harvest problems are different. So we cannot give a very generic solution to it. If we give a generic solution, then eventually it's not reaching to them. So that's what we have understood it. So let's get into the topic, right? So we know mango. So mangoes are national fruit. It's there in our culture. Like, we give this to the god to pray. So mangoes, nutritional benefits, is seasonal fruit across globe. Everyone loves mango, right? So it's Mangifera indica. Indica is like Indian origin. Look at, we were the world's largest mango producer. India has around 1,000 plus varieties of mangoes. So only 30 commercial varieties are broadly available across different markets. But there are 970 plus varieties of mango which is hidden, which I've not seen. So we couldn't promote this mangoes to the global market. So, okay. So again, a disclaimer, it's about my taste buds. So I have eaten around 50, 60 plus varieties of mango so far. So for me, my favorite mango is one mango called Kalapadi. Okay, I don't know how many of you heard about this mango. It's a very small mango. It's like a creamy, super taste mango. But majority of the place, no one knows about this mango. So again, a disclaimer: if you give me Alfonso, if you give me Dasheri, if you give me Kalapadi, okay, I for sure I'll pick Kalapadi because I love that mango that much. But look at, people are not aware of it. It's not commercially available. It's one problem where marketing was not happened properly to that specific one problem where why couldn't reach it. And look at in terms of practices that what we do it in the farm. Okay, so again I'll split this into three category. Okay, pre-harvest, harvest, post-harvest. So pre-harvest is one key problem where all three people have spoke earlier to me, right? So the control of your MRL content, pesticide usage, fertilizer usage, hormone boosters usage, everything should be in a limit. Okay. So, but what happened in the ground scenario? Okay, let's say for an example. Okay, let's take I'm a farmer. So I have like this 5 acres of mango farm. So I was walking through my farm. I found some leaf has some disease. Okay, so being a farmer, I don't know what disease it is, right? And even if I know, I don't know, I cannot define it, the intensity of the disease. Intensity is very, very important. Why? So let's say I go to the pesticide shop fellow, where in my village or in my near to the town, one guy will be sitting. So I go to him. I say, I see kind of a brown color dots on my leaves. So eventually what I do, I'll go with this leaf. So what he does, he gives me a pesticide or he gives me a solution for this, a fertilizer to it, maybe lack of nutrition or some pest infestation. So he give me a quantity. Okay, so he give me, let's say he asked me to add 1 liter, 10 ml. So whatever the limit that he is giving, right? The limit itself is more. So generally, the typical standard says like 5 ml per liter. So he suggests to the farmer says like you add 10 ml per liter. Why? So that all the pest will be died. So that I feel happy being a farmer. So that next time I'll go back to him. Now, what happened? I'm a farmer. I come to farm. I mix it. So when I mix, what I do, instead of adding this 10 ml, I add some more 5 ml extra to it. So eventually, okay, whom you will blame here? So I don't know. And look at here. So we add 15 ml instead of adding 5 ml. The question is it a 5 ml is the correct quantity? We don't know because it was not assessed. It was just by an assumption they given a solution to it. And it's a very common scenario across every agriculture commodities. Okay, I was very keen to mango because we work on mango, right? Okay, so that's a one problem, right? And two, the excess of hormone boosters. So look at, again, that's one more scenario. I'm a farmer, I do it. And there's one more type of business happens in the mango where I'm a farmer, I give my mango farm to contract to a person X. So this X will take my farm as a contract. He give excess hormone booster, he give excess pesticide, he give everything excess. And what he get as a result? An excess mango. Ultimately, his objective is to get how much quantity of mangoes. He never bother about the quality. Being a farmer, my job is I give this farm to the contractor. So look at, so there's a big gap. There's a trust gap between the people. There is lack of knowledge gap between the people. So all this are the actual culprits why we couldn't push our mangoes to the global market. Okay, why we need to push our mango to the global market, right? It's a very good question. In fact, some of my friends from US, they always say, so why cannot you send a mango to me to US? Because they love to eat mangoes. And why they couldn't get it mango? So some of my friends in US, where there's a group of community, right? So Indians, we form a community. In this community, if mango comes, in a minute the mangoes get sold off. But why we couldn't push mango to US? Because of the stringent rules that they kept it. And why we couldn't follow it? And that's $1 billion question. And how much mango we produce?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
just to intervene, sir, because I couldn't hold myself. Actually, the reason 5 to 10 and 10 to 15, the biggest challenge is that when they sit together, the farmers, they have a
Yes, sir.
discussion.
Yes.
And all the trainings, all the education, all the awareness camps get dissolved.
Yes.
I myself did the farming for a long time, and I always go them and teach them what is the right formula. But when the farmers sit together with their community, अरे तू ये करेगा तो ये होगा, then it all gets dissolved. So because this is a big challenge, and this is what I think we are facing since last 70 years and more than that, and it will be continued.
Yes.
Over to you.
Yes, sir. So now, like, the whole process, okay, in the whole process in the pre-harvest, there are so many complications. Okay, so let's hold this pre-harvest. Let's come to the story of harvesting the mango. So now the mango flower comes for 1 month, which means that the first day the flower comes will mature exactly in 100 days. The 30th day flower comes, it will get matured somewhere 130th day. But eventually what we do, we go for harvest, we go harvest every mango at the same time. In fact, at standard suggestion says you go thrice a harvesting. Now the question is, how you identify which is matured mango, which is not matured mango? Are we having a technology or are we having a skilled labor? Both are missing. Trust me, both are missing. So that's the reason why we couldn't do it. So maybe technology is the one place where okay, basically what we had a thought for the future. So there'll be a mango stick, harvesting stick. Okay, there'll be one small sensor. The sensor, you take the stick near to the mango. So near to the mango, it says like, harvest or not. Okay, but anyhow, it's very superficial, I know it. Okay, but we kept this in the thought where we need to solve this problem. There's one more problem sitting here. What is it? When we think of an export, look at India produced 20 million metric tons of mango. 20 million. It's about 50%. We were market leader in mango production. And can you guess how much mango that we export is less than 1%? It's 0.1% of mangoes what we can able to export it. And look at countries like Thailand or look at countries like Brazil. So what is their production is not even our wastage. Trust me, their production of mango is not even our wastage, but they are very good in export. They can able to make more foreign reserve to our country, but we couldn't do it with the most beautiful fruit. The reason for all these problems, okay, earlier Chinmay ma'am said like, the MRL content, the container rejection. People had a fear of exporting this mango to the country. Why? Because they never followed a good practice in the farm. Yes, the problem number one. As Sudhop sir said, right? So each and every point is ideally applicable in mango industry, in mango ecosystem. Every single point ideally fits here. And the farmer knowledge, how much the knowledge that farmer has. Okay, so let's say we go and tell to farmer, so you use only this much quantity. Okay, a common scenario, a common reply, what the farmer says, I am following this for last 20 years. Okay, so what you can tell to him? So he's saying like, I got habituated. That's my mental model. You don't try to break this. So this is another challenge with them. Okay, so put all together, it's a multi-dimensional problem. MRL content, lack of harvesting practices, post-harvest processing practices, and most important point to be having here is the lack of infrastructure in the post-harvest. For an example, take a mango. I pick a mango. This mango should be cleaned, should be washed, should be properly graded, should be properly put it in the ripening chamber for ripening. Let's say this mango is going to a US, then it need to undergo to a hot water treatment, they need to go to an irradiation process, they need to push. Then how much time for all the process is taking? It's taking 3 to 5 days. 5 days in the whole process. What is the shelf life of mango? It's 10 days. Then how much time you can able to keep this mango in the market? 5 days. 5 days is very, very less, right? Okay. So look at the overall scenario. Okay, like the whole content, whatever I have said so far, I put in the one slide. Okay, look at what's the problem. We are actually lacking skilled labor. We are lacking standard practices. We are lacking standard machineries, and we are lacking automated machines where things can be accelerated in the process. Again, the same story, these 4 terms applicable in the pre-harvest. We don't have a technology to measure how much pest affected has happened to the farm. We don't have a technology to measure what is lack in my soil. So if, in fact, the technologies are available, it's not used. Okay, I'm sorry for that wrong word, right? So it's available, why it's not used? Okay, again, the one answer for this is the cost. Farmer couldn't afford it. Even if has the cost, even let's say he's pretty rich, but he's not, he don't want to put it because, as I said, their mental model has been fixed that we were following it for so many years. It's a very big challenge, right? So because that's what and it's not happens only in Tamil Nadu or Andhra or Karnataka, it happens across country. We have been traveled across country in every GI mango producing region. We specifically speak with GI mango. Why? Because this has a very good opportunity in the global market. And why they couldn't do it? These are the reasons, right? So after finding this reason, somewhere being a tech guys, we should give a solution to it, right? So then we understood, first, let's standardize the post-harvest practices. Why post-harvest practice? The loss in the post-harvest practice is 35%, 35%. So generally people say 25 to 40% is the limit, and it depends on season, depends on a lot of parameters. And can you imagine, out of 20 million metric ton, even 25% you take is a 5 million tons of mangoes is getting wasted. And this waste leads to landfill, this waste leads to a greenhouse gas, this will lead to excess carbon footprint. And look at this, a high value produce, and why it is all wasting. So what we did a ground research. We spoke with all the stakeholders, start from the labor to the policymakers. Then we understood one of the primary problem in the post-harvest mango loss happens because of the sap injury. Can you believe it? Sap injury, the sap which comes from the mango. So look at, the mango has been properly harvested in the farm with well monitored with the supervisor. The mango has been with stem cuts. When they take this mango to the pack house, when they grade it, almost 70 to 75% of the mangoes were the grade 1 when it is packed. By then the mango reached from the farm to the pack house. Pack house, the place where you do all the process. Look at, almost 70% mango has been gone bad. Why? Because of the sap injury. Sap is basically an acid. So when acid touches the mango skin, what happens? It burns the skin. When the mango ripened, you can able to see this, right? So the yellow color mango. So eventually, let's say, you think of yourself, you go to a shop, there are 2 mangoes. One looks proper yellow color. The other one looks like kind of this mango, what you're seeing in the screen. Which one you pick? Definitely we pick this yellow color mango. But if you look at internally, the bricks value, maybe this mango should have been more sweeter. But this mango lost its value because of this black color skin. And what causes black color skin? The sap injury. This is not the problem. There's one more problem here. What? Because of the sap injury, the skin become weaker. Okay, what's a human being first defense system? Is our skin. Same to everyone, right? So look at, because of this, what eventually happened, the anthraquinone fungal disease getting into it. So shelf life of the mango is going less than 9 days. So it's even more pathetic situation. And due to the climate change today, in today's scenario, in the last mangoes in 2024 mango season, we have seen across country, especially in UP, it was very intense. Even in Tamil Nadu and Andhra region, rain is becoming early. When the rain is becoming early, we get this sooty mold. It's a fungal disease. And this eventually spoiled the entire look of the mango. And can you imagine, thousands of tons of mangoes has been affected with sooty mold every year. And this is becoming high. And what can we do for this? The one solution for this problem is do the whole process on the farm. Okay, that's point number one. Look at, there's one more aspect here. I told about the pack house, the infrastructure. It's a physical infrastructure. It's very costly. Trust me, you have to put minimum 3 crore. I think I don't need to tell this to you, so you know better than me. So somewhere we are investing a 3 crore rupees to establish a pack house, and the pack house is not well utilized. The reason for this, the cost of processing is pretty high in some cases. The accessibility of the pack house is very, very distant. It's not really accessible. And people are not aware. The main fundamental reasons for this. So cost is a fundamental problem here. And we cannot replicate it. So the need of India need is somewhere 70,000 pack house. And how much we have is only 400 in hand. Look at the gap here. So there's a huge infrastructure gap and there's a huge quality gap. How can we fill this? So that's where exactly we come up with the solution of, can we do the whole cleaning, washing, grading, desapping whole process on the farm, especially for mango. Why? Because the sap is the one which need to get treated right after the harvest. If you leave it, let's say you take this mango to the pack house, the next day you do cleaning, there's no job, there's no need of cleaning that mango at all because it's already done. It's already got affected, right? So by doing this all research, then we understood somewhere we should take this machine to the farm to do the whole process. Okay, so what exactly this does, a small short video. So this is a small, just a minute video. We take this machine to the farm. So where they will properly harvest this mango with stem, with the net, so that mango is not getting mechanically injured. So with stems, we harvested. And right after cut the stem, do a desapping process, where the quality of mango has been enhanced beautifully. So after ripening, you should look at the mango, it's so clean. Okay, we do desapping with the base solutions, and then we do wash with water, and then we do a weight-based grading on the farm. So can you see it, the machine, which is doing a weight-based grading? So if you ask me, why do we need to do a weight-based grading on the farm? So let's say I harvest a mango, different mangoes comes with different size. When I put all the mango in one crate, when I put it for ripening, the smaller mango ripen faster, the bigger mango ripen slower. So I couldn't make a right decision for dispatching my mangoes to the market, right? And there's a standard for export also. You should have only at least 300 grams of mangoes of Banganapalli so that you can able to push for an export. So look at the ripened mango. So it looks so beautiful. So with this solution, with this just a small, a machine which is put in the tractor, when we take this to farm, the quality of mango has been drastically improved. Drastically improved. So, okay, there's a comparison. So, a typical process, conventional process, okay, 1 ton of mangoes goes to Swiggy and a big basket. Out of 1 ton, 500 tons to, 450 to 500 kg of mangoes will get rejected. When the mangoes harvested with our machine, means harvested and the process with our machine, when we took this mango to the Swiggy, it was only 100 kg rejected, only 10% rejected. Again, the 10% because of the size, irregular shapes, and other parameters, mechanical injuries while harvesting. And this was one of the huge improvement that we have seen in. And one more intervention that what we saw over here is, by doing this proper cleaning after this harvest, we saw mango shelf life has been extended to 12 to 13 days. Why? Because we treat right after that. There's no way of any fungal things and goes on, right? So look at this machine. Okay, a typical process, what they do in UP is they had a big bamboo sticks. They cut this mango, they keep it inverted. After half an hour or after 1 hour, they come, they take this mango, they wipe with cloth, and then they pack it. With this machine, it has been drastically improved their performance, and it was well cleaned. And trust me, they were not allowing us to leave the farm because we need to go to one more place for testing it. But the farmer was not allowing us to go. So because they understood the importance of this machine, especially in the export and the premium market, right? So of course, I should not say this, but the typical story in the local market, it's not, they're not really bothering about the quality. But we should really make sure that they should bother about the quality, right? So key advantage of this machine, because when you give this machine to the farm, so one, the infrastructure cost, you don't need to invest in 3 crore, just invest 20 lakh rupee to make this whole setup, and you can take this to every farm and it's completely mobile, right? So, okay, 5 days of process has came to do 3 days. Why? Because the first 2-day process we do in pipeline in the farm. So with this solution, we have drastically achieved a pretty good amount of mango quality improvement. We are trying to reduce the wastage. We improve the mango value. Good. So these are some of our field trials where German ambassador visited our mission. He was highly appreciated our mission, and we ran a trial in Andhra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and UP in the last season. So that's a one part of problem, right? So what's the second part? When we send this mango to the global market, typically for an export, especially the Western countries, European Union and US, they had so much stringent rules. They need to look at this mango. Look, in terms of appearance, it should be good. In terms of chemical content, it should be good. In terms of sweetness, it should be good. So challenge is grading the mango upon the appearance was one more challenge for the people. The problem here is, let's say we had a labor to do the job. The efficiency of the labor is going down when the time goes up. Morning, they do very good grading. When it comes to the post-lunch in the evening, the grading mistakes has started occurring more. Eventually, as ma'am said earlier, 9,500 containers got rejected in the last 5 years. Oh my God. I think there will be significant amount of container rejection because of mango also. Because mango is one commodity where it's highly getting rejected. And that's the reason why people, they couldn't go for exporting. Like they had a fear of doing it. So what this grading machine does, right? It's a camera view. Push this camera. We have collected millions of images. We trained an AI model where we can able to grade this mango. Upon grade 1, typically we push these mangoes for the export consignments. The grade 2 mangoes, we push these mangoes to this local markets. The rejected mangoes, which has been mechanically injured, which has been different in shape, which have been other diseases affected, we push this to the local market or we push this to the pulp industry, right? Okay, so that's a camera view. Now look at the machine, how does the machine looks? So we make sure the mango is rotating 360 degree. We rotate, we inspect about the visual. Okay, let's say there's no black blemishes. The mango looks so fine. It's well green. And then we capture it. And then we give an ID to it. And then we decide to sort whether it belongs to grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3. And this is a sorting device. Whatever that we have took a decision, we do implement it here and the sorting. So G1, G2, G3. So one more common observation when we do this, we see, so almost 50% mangoes will be coming in the G2 category, and the G1 category is only 15 to 20%. And why this 15 to 20%? Again, is because of the lack of post-harvest, lack of harvesting standards, right? So if you look at everything in the post-harvest, everything will be depends on the harvest time and the pre-processing of this harvest, right? So that's what we are trying to solve it. And as I said today, the biggest killer sitting in the mango ecosystem is one is sap injury, two is Suthi mold today. And of course, Alfonso, again, variety specific problems are there. Alfonso has a problem called spongy tissue. You go to Dasheri has a problem called jelly seed. Okay, so mango looks, see, kind of, Dasheri is kind of very tasty, very aromatic fruit. Okay, but when this jelly seeds comes, the mango taste goes very bad. Okay, maybe I just like it, right? So these are the problems. So what we are doing currently, so can we able to clean this fungal infection? It's just only on the surface. There is no job of affecting this fungal disease to the mango. If I clean this fungal disease, I can able to push this mango to the pretty good cost. but I couldn't do it. Why? It's very intense. So we have been collaboration and we have been incubated with institute called Center Subtropical Horticulture Research Institute, CSH. It's in Maligabad. They are developing a solution to dissolve this fungal disease. So what we are trying to do, we are taking that solution, we are putting it our machine. So can we achieve this cleaning on the go? We are trying it. So to a certain extent, it was, yes, positive, but it's not well-defined. Standard is not met. We are working on it, right? And we have been incubated in NIAM, National Institute of Agriculture Marketing. It's in Jaipur. And they are helping us to define a better marketing strategies to push this machine to the market. And we have been incubated in Made It. It's a DDM Kanchipuram. It's in Made It. Yes, Made It. It's in again incubator center in DDM. It's in Chennai. So it's in technology business incubator. And we have been incubated in IIT Kanpur. They are helping us to connect with more FPOs in near to Lucknow and other regions. And our star is like Digital Impact Square. It's a TCS foundation. And they were been helping us to understand the problem more deeper. In fact, we got this more insight about this whole problem statement with the help of Digital Impact Square. And it's kind of an NGO. They don't take any money from us. They don't take any stake from us, but they are super, they are highly helpful, and their mentorship is amazing. So with this, we are progressing. Okay. And like, as sir said, we are in very early stage. We are very, very early stage. We just had some trials. We had some orders for the next mango season, but we want to scale it. And I missed to add one point here. So we Indians, we are very good. We don't waste food on the plate. Yes, of course, because that's what our parents have been teaching. Our grandfather has been teaching to us. But you go to US, right? So in US or in the Western country, they waste a lot of food in plate, but they don't waste the produces on the post-harvest. We exactly vice versa.
Right.
We exactly vice versa. We
Right,
waste
right.
the post-harvest in plate, will not waste. So what's the point?
We are good in post-harvest, but yes, after this plate waste, it is very much less as compared to this.
Yes, sir.
And
So
yeah, it was a very grateful session. Over to you, Dr. Subodh, because I think it is the right place for Dr.
Yeah,
Sharma.
I think, Mr. Shantanu, it was very interesting to listen to Dr. Shanmuga Kumar, particularly because he referred to grassroots issues, handling problems, natural occurrences of things, and trying to find solutions to tackle them. This is exactly the way we can change practices and we can go forward. I will suggest Dr. Shanmuga to please connect with me, send me an email with your details. I will help you to spread better awareness through the channels that we have. Okay.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
And wherever you want, and if you want it to be taken to the Ministry of Agriculture or Ministry of Food Processing or to the Chittoor Mango Federation or the Krishnagiri Mango Federation or the Ratnagiri or Valsad, people, we can do that. Okay.
Great.
That's really
Send
great.
me all of it, and if you can send me your PPT also, I would like to share with some people to attract their attention.
Definitely.
Okay. And I think this my expression is for everyone that India is changing. Okay. We have to be a different country now. And that will happen only when the younger generation, like Dr. Shanmuga, they spend their time on the field. Okay. You know that Israel has done it.
Yes, sir.
Their 15-year-olds, they do research. And they have made their deserts green.
Yes.
The point is, we should have been stronger enough to help them.
Yes.
But they are helping us.
Yes.
Okay. Now this mango thing, India was the leading manufacturer both in variety and quantity.
Yes.
And now we are sliding back. because we have very poor research-based system. We have a mango research institution, but you ask Dr. Shanmuga if they are doing all these, if they are even focusing on the ground reality problems. No, they only
Sir,
produce some PhD thesis,
Yes.
even
which will
my
not work,
experience is that,
right?
my
So
experience
now what
is
is
that,
happening is that industry is feeling, those who are exporting mangoes, that Indian mango is not really wanted abroad because there are other countries. Even Pakistan has done something better than us,
Yes.
and Kenya and Mexico and so many other places, even Malaysia. Okay. Now that is because our decades we have not worked, what you say is involve yourself with your hands. We have not done. Our government bodies, our authorities, and I mean, I will not shy to say that I have interacted with all the PFA and other, commodity, essential commodity laws. Okay. We have to change now. They have not served the purpose. Mindset has to change.
Yes, sir.
Policing alone will not work.
Yes.
Technology working on the ground, and the biggest problem is that there have been times that the regulator will not even listen to you. This is changing, and this needs to change more. The culture has to change. It
Yes.
is not two sides of the table. It is a round table. You're sitting together, and only then, if each one thinks that the other person can contribute, then the solution will come.
Yes, sir.
If some people in the government or authority, they think that no, we know everything, and the person on the other side of the table is a thief, and we have to do a police action, nothing will happen. Same problem with our sugarcane.
Yes.
We have not been able to produce good quality cashew also. We are importing from Vietnam.
Yes.
India is an old home for cashew.
Yes. The
So many similar problems.
Coconut. We
Coconut.
import value-added products from Thailand.
We could not make Indian coconut available in the world market. Nobody looks at it.
Yes.
Now, why? Somebody has to ask these questions, ask them to the regulatory authorities, to ICR, to ARA, to all these research stations,
Yes, sir.
to the Ministry of Agriculture. We should be bold enough to ask them, not shy, because solutions will not come without that. I mean, a small country like less than Haryana, who developed this, more crop every drop.
Yes.
We could not think of anything, and our deserts, they still lay barren. So I think a lot of working together is required, but first the mindset has to change, both in the industry and in the government.
Yes, sir. I agree, sir.
I'm very clear on that. Okay.
Great.
So please,
Sure.
you connect with me. I will try and help you.
Thank you,
Okay?
sir. Thanks a lot. Thanks
So
a lot.
can I take leave now?
oh, sir, very insightful suggestions,
Yeah.
valuable talks from your side.
Yeah.
I can't say, sir, you have to leave. You have to be there, sir. Till all the time we are there. Your guidance is very valuable to us. And
I will
Dr.
be there
Shanmuga,
anytime. Anytime you ask something or you need any inputs, please let me know. Okay?
sure, sir, sure, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
All
sir.
So, Dr. Shanmuga,
Yes, sir.
really very energetic session, sir. I feel
Thank
I
you.
am into a mango bucket, right? All around mangoes with me. And not to say much about that, I will request Madam to please pitch into the system. Yes, Madam. Rama, Madam.
Okay. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you so much for that insightful session. We started off with a Big Bang being the day one. This is the very first session actually in the series, and normally food and agri generally we find a better audience, larger audience. But then series of sessions we were planning, we couldn't reach out, and there was a technical glitch with our mailing campaign, which we were able to resolve only yesterday. But one thing is, all this recordings, session recordings, and the key takeaways will reach our complete database of the association who have been attending the sessions. It will be uploaded in our channel. We'll be circulating it. The idea here is, this is what we wanted, what Dr. Jindal said. It is the industry which has to really offer that hand-holding and the support to the innovators. Industry has no appetite for research and innovation, and the agility is totally gone and missing in the industry corridors. And products that we get is not something what we want. What we want is something else, but what we don't, that we don't get. So the times are changing, and there is an intense focus. At least some of the global markets, global conversations, any of you on the Twitter X, you will all see the kind of anti-regulatory momentum that's taking place in some of the global markets, which is also not a healthy sign. Regulations are needed. Regulations are definitely needed because they are only designed to protect the communities. Okay, but there's another side. The industry doesn't want regulations. These battles will only intensify. But end of the day, the regulatory frameworks and the regulatory structures should understand the market realities when they are designing certain things. And what is actually needed is a consumer education, community education by the regulators. Anurag Gupta ji has asked a very simple question. How does a consumer understand farm to fork? Do we have a very simple regulatory structure and a framework to make them understand? Because all the structures and the frameworks are designed to educate the industry, but not the common man. Right? Innovations is something what the marketplace needs, and innovators need that market access support and guidance. And we are so glad and happy that Dr. Jindal was really supportive. This is the purpose of introducing innovators in all our conversations, right from the inception, right from the day one. It was a policy decision taken where we really wanted to include a startup and an innovator, whether it is a technology which is already been commercialized or ready for commercialization, maybe even at a prototype stage, it's immaterial. Sessions like this will make them also understand when multiple stakeholders are speaking and talking about what's happening at the marketplace. Otherwise, even innovators don't have this connect. So all our conversations are related to regulations, standards, and certifications. All the three are very critical for market access. So this is what we have been doing it, passionately doing it. And I would like to once again thank all of you for joining us today. I have posted our next session. Second session is actually day after tomorrow, which is industrial machinery, a quality control order. Even yours is an equipment. Post-harvesting technology is an industrial machinery or an equipment. So there are quality control orders which are introduced in the country for various machineries and equipments, which will give you that market access a benefit. So generally, this is an open session for industry. Any equipment manufacturers or machinery manufacturers can join this session. Do visit the web page. I have posted in the chat box. Every day the session details will be updated. Just simple, very simple. Remember, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday sessions. The whole of this month, 3 to 6. Only on Saturdays, sometimes we do have morning session. Something like bioeconomy. Certain topics we do have morning session and afternoon sessions. Otherwise, it's usual time, 3 to 5:30. Everybody can register and join. Keep do patronizing us and keep joining us for all the sessions. And we will also connect youngsters and young innovators and startups like you to some of our chambers of commerce, which has a lot of mango traders, distributors, harvesters, So idea is to take all these innovative technologies to the market and, help them to improve their harvesting, make all these products affordable, reduce wastages, and these are all your sustainable development goals at the end of the day. So I would like to thank you all once again, and thank you to our host of the day, Shantanu ji, who is very passionate about hosting the
Thank
food
you,
and
madam.
agri-product sessions always, and the wonderful audience who have been participating. The last but not the least, we have to thank our mentor, Mr. Anil Jauri, who's our mentor and guide, and who's instrumental in triggering this passion in us to roll out this knowledge series. It used to be a 3 or 4 sessions in a month, And this time it's a Herculean task, about 12, 13 sessions, but we really wanted to do it because all the emerging sectors, we wanted to create a conversation. So that is why short and sweet to our sessions, nothing longer. So thank you once again. And I will also share Dr. Jindalji's details to you, Dr. Shanmugakumar.
Yes, ma'am.
I will
Sure, ma'am.
also try to connect both of you. Please take it forward. Or Shantanu ji also can do it. Shantanu ji has your number, details, both your
Yeah,
details.
ma'am.
We will do it. And we really want to see the innovators coming to the market and then, be part of the supply chain with all these novel solutions and innovative products and technologies. And all these things should serve the community also, because
Yes,
that good quality mangoes is what all of us wanted.
want to eat, yes.
That's all it is at the end of the
Yes.
day. So we will wind up the session. Thank you so much. But any Q&A, any questions here? I don't see any questions, right?
No, so far we didn't get any.
Yeah. Any questions from the audience? Anybody wants to ask any question to Shanmugakumar? Any questions? Otherwise, we can wind up the session. No issues.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for the
much.
opportunity.
Yes.
Shantanu sir, thank you so much for giving the opportunity. And it was pleasure
Yeah,
being
yeah.
here. Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. I will share your number. I will exchange your both the numbers. I will share on the
Sure.
WhatsApp, right?
Connect
Sure, sir.
via
Thank you,
mail,
sir.
both the
Thank you, ma'am.
methods.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.